Hey guys, we're back. This time we're taking a look at the Happy Little Dinosaurs Headers Ahead expansion, which is also a 5 or 6 player expansion from Unstable Games. This one you can confuse easily online with the normal 5 and 6 player expansion because they label them both as such. This one also allows you to play 5 or 6 players, just like the other one did, but this one also adds some new mechanics as well as 2 new characters, and the characters make use of those mechanics. So if you're going to use these characters, you kind of have to use the expansion stuff. But it's a neat little add-on to the game. Adds a little bit more complexity, something else to work for, and a little bit more to the game. So we're going to get right in and take a look. The first thing we have here is our rules pamphlet, and this one, hey look, is actually a book instead of a big fold-out poster. So if they learned something, it's got the same tagline on the back. There's not a whole lot to it. Like I said, one of the pages is blank. But you have your introduction and a little list of what is in here, how to start, how to set up your game. They even show a 6-player setup. And then the new rules for the new hazard cards and tokens. And then the Lucky Day cards, which is a new thing that came up. So we have our new characters here. Easygoing Anki. And this is explained very poorly in the game itself, but I think, my understanding anyway, is that for every active hazard you have in play, you're going to add a +1 to your thing. And then again, the normal for environmental, you -1. And then you have your normal board over here. And our second character is Moody Mossor. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he looks like a shark. He's a fish. Same thing. He's got the plus hazard there, and then the -2 emotional. And the way these hazards are going to work is you're going to start the game with one on number 20. And then there's cards that are going to come up throughout the course of the game that are going to add more hazards to your board. Whenever you land on or cross one of the hazards, you're going to draw a deck, or draw from the hazard deck, which I'll get to in a minute. And it gives you permanent things that affect you. I think there's ways to get rid of them through disasters. We'll have to see. I can't remember. It's been a bit since we played this version. But yeah, so it changes things up a little bit. The tray, oddly enough, does not support sleeve cards like the others do. They're just a hair too big. So I have mine off to the side here. We do have our meeples. I do love the meeples in this game. And Anki, which I can't get out. There it goes. Angry Anki, he's upside down. Easygoing Anki, sorry. And then they have these hazard tokens. They do come with a slot in here to put them, and they stack nicely in there. But again, if you're going to sleeve your cards, they're not going to fit in here. Or if you're going to use a storage solution like I do, which I'll get to at the end, I just have them in a bag. And again, they're just little road cone hazards. And everyone is going to start with one on 20 like that. And then throughout the course of the game, things are going to prompt you to put more out there. So you have your cards here, and there are 3 different card types now. You have your normal disasters, which these actually have changed slightly, so we're going to set them aside. We'll get to those. So on your normal cards here, they got new artwork on these. So you got some hazard redirects. You got your 8s, 7s. I think almost everything in here has effect text down here too, which is crazy. So these can all get mixed into your normal deck. And regardless, with the other 5 and 6 player set, I suggested, only using the extra cards if you're playing with the 5 or 6 players. These can be added at any time, but I think a lot of these, like play this card. If you would add a hazard token to your escape route, add that hazard token to another player's route instead. Almost all of these, I think, have something to do with messing with other players. Remove all hazard token, or remove a hazard token. So there are ways to remove them. That's how you. I knew there was something to do it. But again, if you're going to play with either of these new characters, you're going to have to play with the hazards. If you're playing with the hazards, you're going to want to have all of these mixed into your deck. So there's those. Then we have this new deck, and you can see they have the road cones on the back. Sorry for the glare. They also have these borders around them. But this is going to be a shuffled up deck, and it's going to be in the middle of the board. Anytime your meeple here crosses or lands on one of your hazards, you're going to remove that hazard from your board. And then you're going to draw the top card of this deck. And these do various things, like here we got Up in Flames. If this card's in your hazard area, subtract 1 point from your score for each hazard in your hazard area during scoring. So this goes face up in front of you, and until this card's gone, you're going to basically, every time somebody puts a hazard on your board, now you have a -1. Now you have a -2. Now that counters a little bit with these guys who get a +1 for those. And so that kind of evens out with them, but by having more of these on your board means you're giving yourself more of these cards when you come around. So they get the bonuses early by stacking up on those, but they're going to lose them as time goes on. Each one of these does something different. There's a whole deck of them. And they just add something fun and new to the game without being overwhelming. And then, of course, these are going to get recycled if they run out and somebody has to add more. You can shuffle the deck up with those. So now to go with these, you have these new disaster cards. And definitely same thing, if you're playing with these, you're going to want to have these shuffled in. So we're going to put those in the back because those are the special. But you've got your meteors coming in hot. They've actually changed the artwork up on those. Didn't realize that. So you have your normal meteors. You've got your different various disasters, and these ones are actually marked with the hazard symbol, so you know to remove them if you're not playing with this, because there's a lot of stuff that's not going to pertain. So that's neat. That's one thing that's lacking on the previous expansions, because it made it really hard to sort them all out and remove everything. But yeah, I believe there's going to be 4 or 5. Is there more? Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there 5 of each? 3, 4, 5. Yeah. The other expansion only had 4 of each. Yeah. So there's 5 of each of the new disasters in there. Then we get into these, and these are the lucky day cards. And when they come up, instead of a disaster, if whoever's going to lose the round and take this card gets to trigger this bottom ability on here. And then these get cycled to the bottom of the disaster deck. I believe they all say that on there, but they are neat. New addition, and make it so every once in a while it's not so bad losing around. But there's only 4 of those, and they get shuffled into your whole deck, so they're not going to come up too often. And that's it. That's a look at everything that comes in the Hazards Ahead expansion here. Now, I will say I do like this one, but we don't play it as often as the other, mainly because I'm usually playing the game with new people, and I don't like to introduce the hazards, the new mechanics. That said, if people are old enough, it's a really simple concept to get, so it's not too overly complicated, and I have played several times with it with new players with no big issue. We do tend to play just the base game though, because a lot of times we have younger players, or like I said, brand new people who really aren't into gaming, and we try to keep it as simple as possible for them. But this definitely adds a new aspect to the game, adds a little bit more complexity to it. Nothing major, it's still a super light game, but it's just one extra thing to remember off the beginning. It is a lot of fun though, and I do like the new characters, and yeah, it adds a little more to a pretty simple game, and that's okay. My major complaint is that it does not fit back in this box once they're sleeved. I don't know why all the other expansions, these trays did fit sleeve cards, but for some reason this time they don't. So I store everything in the base game box anyway, as I've shown in previous videos. There's our base game, bottom of the box. I have this tray, and these are perfect for each of the expansions. So in this case, we take our disasters, go in here. Regular cards go in here. And I put these on top just so I know this is the hazards expansion. And they fit below the lip, even sleeved. And then you can put your... I put these two guys in the bottom tray because they require that expansion. So you put them down here with it. Just because if you're using them, you're going to have to use that expansion. I keep my hazard tokens here in a baggie. You don't really have to, but it keeps them organized. I'm like that. I don't like tokens everywhere. You could just dump them in there though, but this can fit right down in there. And then I generally put the rule books for the two expansions, which I've already got down there. So I'll put the rule books for those on this bottom tray. These upper trays are for the other two mini card expansions, which I'll do videos on soon. But then those go in there, and then the final tray, if I can pick it up without dumping it. Nope, gonna dump it. Oh, I dumped everything. Doesn't like to be moved. This bottom tray, or top tray, I'm sorry, has the base game in it and all the other player tokens. And then you just split the cards up. Disasters. And then your normal decks you can split evenly among the four piles here. Stores everything nicely. And then all the player boards can go right on top. The one thing with this is that the player boards do make the lid lift a little. Oddly enough, these trays here, if you take this out, would be the perfect size to store all of your player boards. But they're just a hair too tight, and once you get them in, I don't want to drop it in there. Oh, I did anyway. Because they're a pain to get back out if they slide all the way down flat. I don't know why they didn't make these a couple millimeters bigger so that you could store your games right in those, but seems like a silly oversight. But they do fit right on here, and like I said, it gives you a little bit of lid lift, but I'm okay with that. Everything fits in that base game box, including all of the expansions so far. So that works for me. Anyway, that is going to wrap it up for our look at the Happy Little Dinosaurs Hazards Ahead 5 and 6 player expansion. I hope it helps you decide if it is something worth looking into for yourself. If you're a fan of Happy Little Dinosaurs, it's a nice addition to the game to add a little bit something extra to it. Adds the two new characters to it, and then the hazard add-on there is it's a cool little mechanic. But hopefully, it helps you decide if it is something worth looking into. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.